First of all, we'd like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Congratulations to those who actually have made it for our next board meeting. Just some notes. Hold on real quick. Let's go ahead and start Pule with Mr. Endo first, and then I'll start, introduce some notes.
If I can, everybody rise for the polling. So again, at this board meeting, we're gonna pause for praying for those that the tragedy lost. So many, but also it might be kind of strange to you, but we should pray also for the families of those young men that did the shooting. And I tell you this because I remember years ago, I had this kid, Wai'anae Kahala, he went off the freeway, he hit his turbo button, he lost control. Next thing you know, he went over the freeway, Times Supermarket, and died. The mother said, "Oh, I never knew my son was doing that kind of stuff." So, right? Sometimes parents have no idea what the kids are doing. When the tragedy happened, too late, yeah. And it's heartbreaking. And so let's pray. Father, help us. We come to you once again to ask you to comfort those families who have lost loved ones. Gerard, the man who died at the pillbox from Kapolei. Tui, 19, passing away from heart failure. And Marcus, involved in the shooting, dying upon the shooting. And also for those families of the ones that's still recovering, two young men and the lady. Well, we also pray for those young ones that was involved with the shooting, their families. We ask your comfort. We ask that friends and families will surround them with love to bring them through this tragic loss. And help us as a community to be aware of others that are hurting because of the situation, that we may bring them love and peace and comfort. Continue to help our community. And we just ask your blessing. We ask your blessing on our board meeting. May be productive, glorifying you. For I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Endo. Before we start our official meeting, just wanted to let everyone know that the House Resolution 177 that was mailed out regarding transforming safe spaces into multi-use areas, which is mainly for Honolulu, but they also offered for Wai'anae. Also, if anyone's interested in Ala Cow Street, the city and county had redone met with the school coordinator and to develop improvements to help with the safety in that area for Kamaile Elementary. Before we move on, we request for a addition or change to our agenda. We are missing ocean safety, and I would like to move to have ocean safety put under make 4.1 A, if that's possible. Did Johnny made a second? Okay. So ocean safety will go right after HFD. Okay. Yes.
Chair, okay, thank you. If I could also request to change the agenda. I'll make a motion of changing the agenda. So agenda item, the presentation in reverse. 7.3, 7.2, 7.1, and also approval of agenda 8.1 into 2.0.
Okay. So the motion is to move up 8.1 and 7.1.
So presentation in reverse order.
Okay.
So the order would be 7.3, 7.2, 7.1.
Anyone else want to second that to move it up? Change the order? Okay. Motion is second. So we're moving survey and study up to the first presenter. Then we're going to Macaw Valley Plantation, and then the concerns regarding churches.
Thank you, Chair. In 2.0, yeah. And then there's a correction in the agenda. So the correction in the agenda under 11.1, the date should be July 1st, 2025 instead of June 3rd. Thank you,
That's
Chair.
Thank you, Johnny May. So also correcting 11.1 to make sure it reflects the correct date for next month's neighborhood board meeting to July 1st. Okay. If that is all, we will proceed with our agenda. Okay. HFD.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Firefighter Leggett with the Wai'anae Fire Station. First, we're going to go over the incident statistics for the month of May. For fires, we had 1 structure fire, 0 brush fires, 7 nuisance fires, 0 cooking fires, and 2 activated alarms with no fires. Next, for emergencies, we had 150 medicals, 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian, 9 motor vehicle crash/collisions, 0 mountain rescues, 1 ocean rescue, and 2 hazmat incidents. Next is going to be the website announcement. HFD is launching 2 new public data tools for on its official website. It's the Incident Trend Dashboard and Fire Response Search Tool. So the Incident Trend Dashboard gives residents easy access to 5 years of emergency data by neighborhood, including fire, rescue, medical, and hazmat incidents. With interactive maps and charts, the dashboard helps communities better understand emergency trends in their areas. And the Fire Response Search Tool replaces the previous response mapping tool, which is no longer supported and was recently taken offline. This tool enables individuals and entities to look up specific emergency incidents in which they have an interest in or may have been involved in or affected by. This tool also enhances transparency and provides residents with efficient and direct access to incidents in a secure and accessible format. So to get to these data tools, you can go to fire.honolulu.gov/news-and-info. That is all, and now I'll be open to any questions.
Questions? Okay. Go ahead, Board Member Tiana.
Just comment, mahalo for your service to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we're moving on to water safety. Ocean safety?
Thank you, Board, for having us here. I'll give you our stats for the month of May. We had attendance records of 141,000 people. We've had 18,900 preventives, 1,959 first aids. Public contact, we had 23,153. Rescues, we had 60 rescues for the Leeward Coast. And first aid, I'll give you some more notable first aid. We've had two kids rescued at Makua Beach, swept out, missing at night. I think it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. We found them. We've had multiple rescues at Makua Beach from the last swells. Couple loose dogs at Pokai Bay. One possible shark sighting at Bouvet's. We've had one patient swallowed water at Pokai Bay. We had two dislocated shoulders at Macaw Surfing Beach, unconscious patient at Pokai Bay in the bathroom, taking the Wai'anae comp, and Pokai Bay, one patient, difficulty breathing. And we did have a CPR case at Lagoon number 4. We resuscitated the patient. That's all we've had that last month. Any questions?
Chair.
Yes, Johnny May, board member.
Okay, sir, the stat is from what beach to what beach?
That covers from the stats I gave you, it covers from Yokohama's to Miley Point. But I gave you guys some down at Koalina accidentally.
Thank you.
And our junior lifeguard program just started Monday.
Go ahead, board member.
So since you mentioned the junior lifeguard program, that's what I was going to ask you. It's under your program.
It's under, you go to
You
the
guys help.
Ocean Safety Department. You can find the applications right there. So
Okay.
it's under Ocean Safety Department, City and County of Honolulu.
I'm not sure who's the contact, but my daughter contacted me. She said, Dad, if we can help in any way, they're looking for help for making lunch for the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
for-
looking for
for that.
sponsors.
So I don't know if you want to advertise that or not.
If you can send the chair that information, he can send it to us.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's moving on.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, sir.
Regarding
Or
KL
introduce yourself
Austin
first.
Salcedo, regarding Captain, did the ocean safety, we have a gate on the undeveloped side at KL Beach Park, the undeveloped side. It's important that ocean safety has a key, even with our EMS, fire department, and police, for first responders, a key, because Knuckleheads had opened up another area because they had earlier this year, they had supposed to have blockade the whole area with concrete pilings, but somehow, some way, the supervisor and one associate of the supervisor had relocated those blockades. So now there's a Knucklehead that's going to open up an area, but not enough for the fire truck or EMS. So it's important that you folks receive a key from DPR. Did not get a key. Okay, I guess, who do we bring it up to on this issue itself? Because it's first responders, they need a key for this gate.
We'll follow up with you, sir, on that, on who we can get the key from. Thank you, Mr. Austin. Oh, Dana's online for ocean
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah, just the ocean safety in terms of the use of the word Yokohama. I'd just like to encourage that our community start utilizing traditional names. Keaweola is a great name to utilize. So that's just a comment.
Thank you, Board Member Perry. Okay, Dana, moving on. So, HPD. Is HPD online?
Corporal Makino, District community policing team. Also online with me, I have Corporal Roland Pagan. The crime statistics for the month of May. Motor vehicle thefts. We had 28 in the district. We had 5 in the Wai'anae area. Burglaries was 14 in the district, 4 in the area. Thefts was 136 and 36 in our area. Unauthorized entry into motor vehicle, we had 25 in the district and 7 was in the Wai'anae area. Traffic violations, we had speeding, a total of 21 citations issued. Moving violations was 1,089. Parking violations was 42. Total citations given was 1,152. Total calls for service for our district was 7,735. And for the Wai'anae area, it was 2,396. The only thing I want to bring up, I guess, the shooting, the murder investigation on Lahaina Street. Well, first of all, condolence, thoughts and prayers to the family and friends. All I know is that 4 individuals, were arrested. Not too much information we can provide at this time due to the ongoing investigation and prosecution. But other than that, I'm open to any comments, questions, or concerns.
Chair Perry.
Board Member Perry.
HPD, thank you for your services. You know, as taxpayers, including HPD, will be taxed with sewage rate hike, cost of living, tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. And for HPD need to be mindful that city taxpayers are not sued, the incident of the DUI. So if we can minimize lawsuit, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, we can look into that.
With online Board Member Dana Newman. Board Member
I
Dana.
guess I guess I have 2 questions. There's one is that there was 21 speeding tickets on the coast, but the main source of problems was moving violations. What does moving violations? What is covered under moving violations versus speeding?
So moving violations would also be like stop sign violations, traffic light violations, unsafe lane changes, illegal turns, and so forth. Speeding will be the 21 speeding is just the 21 speeding violations. So the additional moving violations would also include the like I said, the stop lights, the stop sign violations, traffic light violations, and so forth. Yeah.
And then my second question is in regards to what you believe are 3 contributing factors to the shootings. We've had a number of shootings on our coast, and there must be some parallels to the other shootings that occurred. Any ideas on what are contributing to those problems? Yes.
As far as this, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Dana, sorry. Thanks for the question. If I can, one of the things that we do know with a lot of the incidents that we're having are just people and their interaction and their dealings with each other. I know we all talk about cultural sensitivity and respect and stuff like that, but I just wanted to bring up something that happened to me the other night. It was about 11 o'clock at night. I was driving into Wai'anae because we were working doing a park enforcement. As I was pulling into the Wai'anae 7-Eleven, there was a truck ahead of me. As the truck pulled in, what it did was instead of parking in the stall, it parked across 3 stalls, blocking the door, and the 3 stalls in front of the store. So I actually had to go around and park on the other side of the building because he took up 3 stalls right in front, parking across the stalls instead of in the stalls. The reason I brought that up is, to me, a lot of it is us dealing with people respectfully, no matter when and where we are. You know, driving into something like that, some people may not think it's a big deal, but, to others, it's a lack of concern, it's a lack of respect, it's a lack of, understanding that everybody's just trying to do their thing. You know, to me, it's just people not respecting each other. It comes down to basically people respecting each other, people trying to understand other people's situations and understand that we're not the only ones in the area. So, if you're somewhere and you're blasting your radio and somebody comes up and asks you to turn it down, be polite and turn it down, knowing that you're not the only one in the area. But instead people get into altercations because they don't like being told what to do, and they want to act the way they want to act. So that's my personal opinion on what's happening. Some of the instances we had in the past where some of them were love triangle related, was domestic violence types of things. So there's different situations for different ones, but one of the things that I've been seeing mostly is just people respecting each other, basically.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. We're going to move on to community.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is James Cowles, and for the police officers, I'd like to extend my thank you for your services to the community. I appreciate it. The question I have is, what's the chances of getting the motorcycle detail to start patrolling out this site for a little while to cut down on all the people that are speeding out here and running red lights? It's getting too dangerous. I was going around Miley Point this morning, and I was doing the speed limit and had quite a few cars passing me like I was standing still. Guaranteed they were doing 75, 80 miles an hour around on there. So I would like to see the motorcycle patrol come out here and start issuing tickets and maybe start slowing these people down and stop them from running the red lights out here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Aloha, officers. Thank you guys for coming online. I'm here physically, virtually. Pikachu Shelby Building, if you guys don't know me. Because of what happened with Chief Joe Logan, it must be addressed. They went on the news to say they want Chief Benjamin Moskowitz from the Big Island to take over. I must say hell no to that. I don't want that Pillsbury doughboy lazy guy coming here because he's covering up human trafficking, drug smuggling. He said at the mayor town hall with Kimo Alameda. He can't handle Big Island. He can't handle Hilo, Kona, Puna. I know where the drugs are coming from, Ocean View. I know they're coming through the military, and they're going to the dirty peel out people because all the drug people coming from CFS, Catholic Charities, come and confess to everyone in CFS and everyone from the streets. So if you guys want a new chief, I want some of the guys from here who lives here, that you guys come internal ranks. Because if you bring that guy here, promote him, you guys have more lawsuits and more trouble coming downtown. So I want you guys to be able to handle your own stuff and do it internally. Thank you very much.
Any more from board members? Okay. Anything else from HPD? HPD, thank you. We do appreciate mahalo for everything you guys do.
If I get something?
Yes, go ahead. Or we have online. Okay, go ahead, Corporate Pagan.
Corporate Pagan.
Okay, go ahead, Corporate Pagan.
It's
Waho. Okay.
board member. So when I did the interview the other day about the shootings in Lahaina, I was asked if I knew who was, and at that time I didn't. But later on when I went home, the boy that got shot, I knew him when he was first grade. He grew up we were next door neighbors. And when I found that out, I was screaming in my house. And then I come to find out the shooters was all under 20 years old. So my question to HPD, I know that, last year after all the shootings, Mayor Blangiardi, the governor, they did a press conference and it was going to come down hard on, but where the hell are they getting these guns? And is there anything that HPD can do to go into the schools? Because all these shooters, they're all young. Is there anything that, because we had Scare Street when we was growing up. So is there anything that HPD can do to go into the schools and let them know the ramifications of their actions now? Now the shooters, now look at that. I hope they get 20 plus years before even thinking about you know, and some people gonna say, oh, they're young and all that. They know exactly what they was doing. So, you know, and who suffers is the community. And, you know, Marcus's mom, I just talked to her yesterday, and, you know, he's one of 4 boys. Well, now only 3 now. So, you know, I applaud HPD, and you guys, you know, super busy, especially on our side, the Wai'anae Mokuban. You know, Corporate Pagan, there's any way that can implement going into the schools, and I don't know if that's going to help, but I know when Scare Straight came into the schools, that really would help, you know. So please, I know we got to find some solutions, and these ghost guns and whatnot. People know in the community where those ghost guns being manufactured and whatnot. And maybe gotta hook up with legislation for put freaking heavy stiff laws, like, you know. Or, and if they're all if they're still teenagers, then go after the parents. I don't know what, you know, I'm just talking out of frustration and hurt. Yeah, so if there's anything that HPD can do, and hopefully we can get some answers from our legislators later. But yeah, mahalo.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Just so you know that we do reach out to the schools, and we do offer the opportunity for us to come into the schools and talk to the schools and presentations. So, but you know, we can't just go in there and take over and say we want to do it. So we let them know, and we try to work with them to schedule something. So that is something we are working to do. You know, our command is also looking to beef up our community policing team so we can get into the schools more often. Try to develop relationship with the kids in the schools and stuff like that. And you know, you hit on a big thing. You know, a lot of the community does know where these guns are coming from, and that's what we do as a community. You know, there's Crime Stoppers. You know, you can report things anonymously. You can call the tip line, stuff like that. Let people know what's going on, and we can see what we can do to get into that stuff. But my condolences to you and the family.
Battle. You know, Corporal, when was the last time that HPD went into Wai'anae High School or Wai'anae Intermediate?
We did a walkthrough at the Wai'anae Intermediate about 2 months ago with the after school program director. So we're trying to get in there a little bit more often. Wai'anae High School, to be honest, I'm not sure when the last time we got in there.
Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna
Thank
move
you.
to the community now. I appreciate that, Wailani. Go ahead, bless. Introduce yourself.
Aloha, Blessing Star de la Cruz. I commend you, HPD, for the things that you guys have been doing. I know the numbers are high regarding the speeding and so forth, but as coming from a community, I'm listening. It's very concerning to hear that the numbers are so high and you guys are cracking down on the speeding. The question raised to me was, are you guys trying to reach your quotas? Because right now on this side, on Wai'anae side, I know the high volume of the speeding is in regards to the e-bikes and everything else, but also the flags are the section where you guys need to look is the gun violence. And yes, domestic violence and also the ohana and the family cultural differences here. On this side, I know the issues came up about you guys entering into the schools. However, summer is here. Is it possible, I've seen you guys in Nanakuli helping out with the houselessness and so forth. Can you guys come out and reach out to the community for the children, for the ohana here on this side? Because we're hurting and I'm seeing children dying. And it's hard even for me when my own child had to leave the island because of the high volume violence here. And I just seeing it. And I'm seeing, even though they're not my blood, there's still my ohana here on this community side. So I'm asking HPD if you guys can pull out a little bit stronger. I know you guys are lesser, but we community here are also behind you guys helping on this side for the keikis. So please come out more often. I know it's hard. You guys work 12 hours, 16 hours. We do too, majority of us, but we're looking at the future. If we're looking at quotas, we're looking at new person coming from Big Island. No, pick the ones from here on this side.
Thank you,
Not
Bessie.
on
Yeah,
this
we are reaching out to the summer fund. So some of the summer fund programs have called us to reach out to the kids and to get involved in their programs. I do want to just clear up one thing though, just so you know that there is no such thing as a quota in HPD. in regard to citations, just so people understand that HPD does not get a dime from any citation that we issue. That all goes to the state. So it's not like HPD is coming out to do quotas to get money for the department and stuff like that. So we do tend to go into the areas where we get a lot of complaints. And again, we can reach out to the traffic division to let them know the community's concern to see if we can get some of them out here a little bit more often. Thank you.
Mahalo for that clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you. Community member.
Hello, my name is Joe Wakana. Nice to see some of you guys here, some of you guys in the audience. Hey, Corporal, how you doing? Good to see you guys. Real quick, how do we know the numbers that you guys are portraying are correct? And here's why I asked that question. Some of you may or may not know, my other half was basically brutalized by the police on 5-5 in Eva, and they reported it as a unlicensed or unregistered vehicle. They towed my vehicle, but they beat the shit out of her in her car. They literally batoned her, punched her in the face, punched her in the body, punched her all over the place, and tased her 4 times while she's sitting in the car, in a parked car in Eva. That was reported as a traffic violation. Yeah. So my question is, how do we know? I know it's tough, and I've talked with you guys many times when I was on the neighborhood board in Nanakuli. Yeah. So I understand you guys have a rough job. I just know how do we know those numbers is correct and true? Because if they falsified 1, they can falsify 2 or 3 or 10 or 15 or 20. Yeah. And they did falsify it.
Okay.
And it's under a cover up and under investigation right now. So
Okay.
just to pose that out to you guys, thank you. I'll wait for your response.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, unfortunately, honestly, to be honest, I haven't heard about that case. If you want to email me, we can try to look into that. The stats that we provide you are stats that come from the police department that's as reported and the cases are classified. So if somebody reports that they were robbed, but upon doing an investigation, it comes out to be a theft case, either we report it on our stats as a theft case. So again, it's not necessarily what you believe the classification was. It's a classification that the officer makes at the time, and that's what we're reporting. With the stats that we have, to be honest, what we're reporting to you, there's no reason for us to lie about any of the stats. We're just reporting, we pull it up on the computer as far as it's been reported, and that's what we report to the community.
Thank you. Community.
Aloha, my name is Lokana Keli'ikoapua from Wai'anae Valley Homestead. In support of our police, I know the numbers are increasing. There's so much to be done. And I know that Kaukaoho had mentioned about having stiffer laws. But laws, and I think sometimes when you think of the police officers, when they're doing their duty, it goes to the court system. And it's the court system that makes those decisions as to what happens to those individuals. I mean, we see all these long rap sheets, when they advertise them on the news, but what happens? What does it take to get them where that rap sheet is shorter? What are we waiting for? So, for the police officers, it's just like a vicious cycle when they're trying to do their job. And yet, when it goes to the system, it's a different story. I'm just saying in support of our police officers. I mean, there's so many different targeted areas. Where do you begin? Where do you begin? Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's one of our biggest concerns is the fact that people look at the police department when someone is released from or not punished, and that is beyond us. It is with the judiciary. So I do appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Copagan. Due to time, we have to move on, guys, to our next agenda item. Board of Water Supply, please.
Hello, this is super important because this is something that HPD was supposed to do, and I want to make sure that they do that. This is Nani Kalamai.
Okay, go ahead.
Mahalo, Nui Loa, Philip. Last meeting, you guys were asked to bring documents in regards to the training that that is held in HPD. Wondering if that was done. Cultural training, sorry.
I'm sorry? What was the last part?
Did you hear me, sir?
I missed the last part you said. I heard the beginning part about the training. What was the last comment?
So last meeting, it was asked that HPD provide the board with exact documents of your cultural training process.
Okay.
And I'm asking if that that has been presented to the board for this meeting.
I believe that would be forwarded from the mayor's rep to our training division and our command. That's something that we wouldn't provide. So I can double check to see if it was forwarded up to them.
Okay, so I'll ask the question when the mayor's rep comes up. Mahalo.
Thank you, Corporal Bacon. Okay, again, now we're moving on to Board of Water Supply. Do we have a representative from Board of Water Supply online? Okay, we're gonna move on to Department of Parks and Recreation. Anyone from DPR online? Okay, moving on to Donna Puna, Mayor's representative.
Hello, this is Dawn.
Hi,
Can you hear
Dawn.
me? Hi,
Yes, we can hear
everybody.
you.
So I have a report. So the first question was, what happened to the Bus Rapid Transit Center project proposed in 2003? Department of Transportation says a bus rapid transit system was proposed in the early 2000s. Local funds were appropriated. However, the federal funds required were never received. DTS is currently developing plans for a permanent transit center in downtown Kapolei. With regard to the HPD cultural training, what is the curriculum? How does the curriculum address cultural bias and competence? HPD personnel are required to complete the city's anti-bias training annually. This training emphasizes how to both recognize and prevent bias and discrimination, thus creating environments that are inclusive. Police recruits receive required cultural awareness training while at the academy. Recruits will be able to recognize cultural practices and gain a better respect and understanding of how to better approach such situations. Wai'anae Gulch. How is the nearby community land and ocean protected from potential landslides from Wai'anae Gulch? The Wai'anae Gulch sanitary landfill's engineering includes several berms that are designed to keep the landfill stable from landslides and seismic activity. The original ash monofill at the very front of the landfill is also an important feature and acts like a keystone ash toe stability berm. Ash in the landfill sets up with strength like concrete and adds stability. The landfill's permits also includes maximum height limits and maximum grades, with a factor of safety built in and inclinometers installed for seismic monitoring. There's a question about how do churches get permits to begin operations? And there's a question about a property located at 85-271 Mahina'au Road. This subject parcel is a 87,700 square foot lot within the country zone district. Therefore, a conditional use permit minor for a meeting facility is required. It is also within the special management area, therefore is subject to ROH Chapter 25, the SMA ordinance. And then the next question was, what is the planning process for homeless program facilities? The DPP shared that some homeless program facilities are being authorized under the governor's emergency proclamation on homelessness. In effect, the state provisions that give the county's authority over land use matters are waived, except for minimum requirements related to health, safety, and floodplain management. Based on this, the DPP has limited involvement in the planning process for homeless program facilities. DPP involvement tends to be related to building permit coordination and record keeping related to the emergency proclamation. And the Department of Community Services adds the city is not involved in every new homeless facility on the island. Some facilities and programs are initiated by the state or nonprofits. And then the next question was, how is the sanctuary located at 84-123 Makaha Valley Road permitted? DPP reports that according to our records, a meeting facility in the SMA was approved on May 8, 1992. Then in 1995, a site plan review was approved. The SMA and site plan review required building permits to be issued within 3 years. The proposal included a chapel, multi-purpose assembly area, classrooms, kitchen, and offices. The approval was modified 4 times between 2000 and 2015 to alter the site plan and grant multiple extensions of time for the applicant to submit a building permit. A building permit was issued in January 2017 for a new sanctuary facility in accordance with the site plan review and subsequent minor modifications. A certificate of occupancy was issued in 2023. So those are all the questions and answers I have, but I'm here for any additional questions that you might have. Thanks.
Any board members?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, Board Member Perry?
Hi, Don. It was the mayor that brought up losing federal funds for the Wai'anae Bus Transit Center. So if you, that can still be alive because that ties into Skyline. And people, this goes back 2003. There was a study done and that's it. Usually studies cost around $500,000, which taxpayers pay, and that was it. So that transit center needs to be kept alive, Don. Thank you. And also, all nonprofit that deals with the homeless situation should be held accountable, since there are tax funding for these programs, and they need to be held accountable for even those that's unsheltered. You know, every day I drive on Farrington Highway, and it's so, I feel like I'm peering into somebody's bedroom. They're all along Farrington Highway. And it's just so disheartening. I think going through a third world country, but things needs to be better. And Farrington Highway in Wai'anae needs to look better. I see children pulling the wagon to go get water. This is not the way to live. But I want to thank you. This is my last board meeting officially, since I did not get reelected. Yeah. But thank you for all your services, and thank to the mayor for turning a lot of things around in a short amount of time. Hopefully, we can find someone almost similar to him to be the next mayor. But I must say he has a sense of humor. Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you. Board Member Joe Jordan?
Okay. Don? Yeah, sorry. Don, I have a question. The Cedar Church property up Wai'anae Valley Road, do you have any update on that property? I received a phone call saying, they were very surprised to see most of the homeless have been
Relocated.
moved from that particular property. So do you folks have an update from DPP?
Yes. Councilmember Tupola has been very helpful with that situation. We did issue some violations and there are some pending fines, but with the council members' help, I think they're back on track. And so they're trying to conform with the law and to correct these violations. And so we are working with their attorneys to see, what they need to do to make things right. And if they're going to move forward, they need to get certain permits that apply.
Then I would like to thank you. That has been on my bucket list for 13 years. Wasn't pleased when they came in 2012, and I haven't been very happy with any administration since then, and not engaging in violation, permits, fines, when regular citizens go and get their permits and pay for their fees. So I was also told that they were building something on that property. So are they stopping that project right now, or do they have a permit to build some sort of structure? Because I do know there's 4 homes on the property currently.
I don't believe they have any permits or approvals currently. If they are going to do those things, they would need to apply and go through the process.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that, Don.
Thank you. Going online first to Ka'ohu. Member
Alamay,
Kauhu?
not Kauka. I'll
Ms.
wait
Nani?
for after the board speaks. It's Nani.
Okay, Nani, go ahead, please. We're going online.
Okay, mahalo Don. I heard a little bit of what you said in regards to the cultural training, but my question again was, were there documents that that was requested by the board members last meeting to supply specific documents in regards to your training? Was that provided?
No, it wasn't. And I think, you know what, I think there was just a miscommunication. So we can put that in for the next board meeting. And with the understanding that you're looking for specific, it looks like curriculum or documents.
Yeah, we're looking for the actual documents, not the misappropriated words of our Hawaiian words. The state does that, the city and county does that way too often. Yeah,
Okay.
so if you can provide that for next meeting, yeah, because that was specifically asked for, documents. Please,
Okay.
mahalo.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Nani. Going back to community, Mrs. Salcedo.
Aloha, Don. This is
Aloha.
Austin Salcedo. Just to recapture on the 84-123 Makaha Valley Road regarding sanctuary facility. Did you say, does it require a conditional use permit if there's a sanctuary facility built there?
Yes, it would require,
It require a conditional use permit, major or minor?
it would require sorry, I'm getting these mixed up. It looks like
No, the reason why I asked too is just tonight on Channel 2 News, just out of miraculously, we heard on the Channel 2 News that because of the migrants, Honolulu, Mayor Rick Blangiardi tried 2 years ago, to have Honolulu a sanctuary city. That has not prevailed. It failed. Honolulu and Hawaii is not a sanctuary state, nor a sanctuary city. So that's the reason why I question sanctuary facility on any properties, especially a church. It can be revised or deviate from a church, and additionally to include a sanctuary facility, because it's not for birds or fishes. So I just want to get clarity on this thing, because Hawaii is not a sanctuary state.
right. Yeah, actually, this came up, I think, with a meeting with the mayor and the managing director, that they heard the same thing. I think on Fox News, they said that Hawaii or Honolulu was a sanctuary city, and that's not true. So
Yes.
you're correct about that, and that's our understanding too.
So conditional use permit, is it required a major for this facility or any other that comes in our way or has been, how would I say, developed, especially on the 96792? We're going to put that in question. Major or minor? That's the reason, that's the question.
Yeah.
If it says major, yeah, it does?
Well, it would be a minor, it may be a minor, depending on what this, what the scope is, or a new CUP if it's major alteration. So it's a difference between the scale and scope of what they would, the latest change. And so it could be a minor or it could be a major.
In both cases though, is it required as an attribute on the conditional use permit to come before the neighborhood board as transparency? That's the next question, was that is an attribute on the major. I'm not sure about the minor.
Yeah, not the minor, but definitely for the major.
Okay. Thank you, Don. Appreciate your assistance on this. Always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Community.
Aloha, Don. Kalei Salcedo.
Aloha.
My concern is, I'm asking you if you can deliver a message to the mayor. We seems to be having a lot of gentrification developing, yeah? And every time something goes wrong, they said, see your legislatures, see your rep. Well, a lot of the things you're telling us to see our legislature and our rep is created by the city. Okay? So that is a big concern. The other, that's a big concern. So We're looking at safety within our community. Safety is number one priority, and that is the law to protect well-being, safety of the 96792. All we've been getting is more negative impact, more transferring people here, one-way tickets here. So safety is not a big concern with our mayor. We cannot even drive on a road safe. We can't even go to the store safely. We cannot even turn around and go on our beach safely, not even on our beaches or bathrooms on the beach facility. You know, you go inside a bathroom, Kehal Beach Park, you see needles, you see drugs. Just recently they had HPD, which I'm very grateful with them, fire department, and you had a butt naked person running around thinking nothing is wrong. She was high as the sky. So when is our parks going to be safe for our community to enjoy? Taxpayers that's going to enjoy. When is the city going to take responsibility to make sure our well-being is safe? Electric company is run by the city. When is that going to be maintained properly? A lot of teams is run by the city. When is that going to be maintained properly? That's all I'm asking. That's what I want to know. When we're tired waiting, we're tired being on the back burner, but I thank you for being there, Don. Mahalo.
Thank you, Clay.
Chair Perry.
Board Member Perry.
Don, I think the engagement with the churches and the city and the state, I think there may have been some sort of agreement or understanding and part of the homeless emergency proclamation to help the homeless and also to help food production. And I think that's why the churches got involved with the food production and with the homeless. So hopefully there's no lawsuit pending. Because I heard about Cedar Church coming to Wai'anae Valley in the newspaper. I have mentioned that to you. Now they're going after Cedar Church for the kahalis in Kalihi. Either they pay 20,000 per kahali, or the state take back the kahalis. So I think there's may have been some kind of agreement, or it came all under the emergency proclamation. It was also, to help because we complain about the cost of food. And so this was giving the unsheltered an opportunity to farm the land and also get shelter. But of course, I'm not sure where all the permitting process come in. So hopefully there's no lawsuit coming ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Perry.
Okay.
If there is no other community members or board members with concerns, we are going to move on to Councilmember Topola. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Director. Aloha board members. And first off, thank you, ARCA Safety, for having us in this beautiful location. So much bigger and nicer. Thank you. Secondly, I want to just shout out Chris Moroka. He's been super active with me, engaged in everything our office is doing. It's just super refreshing to work with somebody that's everywhere. Appreciate him very much. Thirdly, yeah, can we? I don't know where he's at, but you just can't stop Chris Moroka. I'm like, Chris, stop. He's like, no. Okay, Chris. He's awesome. I just want to also say thank you for those who came to our homeless symposium May 21st. We went through one of the biggest deficits we have in homelessness, which is assisted community treatment. It is actually mandated medical treatment. We have only one doctor on the whole island, one lawyer doing this on the whole island, which this law passed in 2019 and it still hasn't been well funded. It's something that could exponentially help with situations like what Auntie Calais brought up. Really people that are harm to themselves and to others. There's a whole nother process that needs to happen for that. And we actually don't do it out here, which is why we see it rampant. So we're trying to flood resources into that. Fourthly, I just wanted to clarify that the final decision for the chief of police will be made by the police commission. And Ben Moskowitz used to live on this island and he lived in Wai'anae. He lived in Sea Country. So, but it's not up to me. Whatever is decided by the police commission is what is going to be the interim. And essentially, they will decide the new chief. I want to thank Board Member Perry and any other board members that are going out. Thank you, Joe Jordan, for your follow-up on Cedars. I'll just give a brief because we had a meeting just today about it. So through all these years, as Board Member Jordan stated, it's been tough because actually the violations were for the sheds. The sheds are not permitted structures, and so the fines were up to over $200,000. We did notify the church multiple times, and it took a long time until 2 weeks ago, and now all the sheds are down. And the reason why is because the state and city wanted to fund some of their operations, which I opposed until people got into compliance with the law. I do believe we need to have compassion for the homeless, but we need to follow the law. We cannot be allowing places to have multiple illegal structures, but also no CUP, no conditional use permit for group living. And so for clarification, I met with Jung Yang, and the only group in Wai'anae that's using the emergency proclamation, like submitted a packet and got approved, was Pu'uhonua Wai'anae. So if anyone else tells you they're using the emergency proclamation, no one's been approved for that. It's an actual process you have to apply for and then be accepted, and then the governor's office works with you. Cedars did say that they're going to be building, but of course, I was very firm with them today. I want to thank Ernie Martin. He's pro bono, meaning that he's helping them legally for free, because the legal part is where we've been stuck all these years. You cannot build on more than 50%. It's ag land. There needs to be agriculture. So they committed to me today that they would still have ag as part of that parcel. We are not looking for a whole entire dormitory. Like, we get it that people want to help, right? But we need to follow the law. This coming city council meeting tomorrow, if any of you guys have time to testify, Bill 60 is the sewer fee increase. I am suggesting an amendment. So currently right now, the version is suggesting that we increase the fees, not the 9% for 10 years. The council opposed that, but they are suggesting increases for 7. So the floor draft that I proposed, I propose we cut it to 5, not 7. 7 is really, really a long time to have increases every single year, year after year. I think within 5 years, I can work with the EPA and other agencies to try to cut down the amount that they're looking to fund. Secondly, we have Resolution 25-149, the park renaming for Wai'anae District Park. I want to thank Glenn Kila. He was at our meeting, as well as the sister of Shinye Nagamine and her granddaughter, Kimie, that testified. And of course, thank you, Board Member Ganaban, for pushing that. If you didn't know, the name plaque is there at the park, but it's like on the basketball court somewhere. So we're going to do it more official. Thirdly, bills 11, 12, and 13 are passing tomorrow. Those are the game room bills. Many of our shootings are associated with game rooms. The 3 bills that are passing specifically give HPD more tools to crack down on game rooms in our community. So if you can please testify in support. Bill 11, 12, 13. This is from the Game Room Task Force. I worked on this very hard. So if you can testify in support, it should be passing tomorrow. Resolution 25-128. Overt monitoring. Board Member Johnny May Perriott told me to add Kea'au Beach Park. We are putting forward a resolution that overt monitoring be at various beach parks for exactly what was brought up earlier. Our beach parks are not safe. We do not have enough officers to go in all these areas, so we gave them a list of the parks that we would like to see overt monitoring. Next, Resol 25-160. It's my resolution suggesting we have a task force so that we can make a plan to address the officer vacancy. That's up for final vote. Tomorrow, final vote, City Budget 22. So that includes all of our Wai'anae CIP, all of the operating things that board members asked me for. Final vote on budget tomorrow. Lastly, these are dates that you guys need to keep in mind. June 16th, we're having the Noho Leo meeting. I thank Carla from RISE for finally having this meeting. We'll have the meeting in the street where Noho Leo is. On June 19th, we are tentatively set to have a press conference at Wai'anae Station. That's where the mayor will sign all 3 game room bills, and where I'll do an official announcement of the Wai'anae Public Safety Policy Statement. I sent it to all of you. I would like everyone to sign it. Everyone in this room, I'm encouraging you to sign it. We created this document based on last year's town hall of over 500 people. I've been spending months gathering feedback and writing 6 major things that we need in Wai'anae to decrease violence and I think crime. So if you read through it, it's very specific. My problem is that we have never had very specific points that need to be funded both on the city and state. Please read it. I put it on change.org as well. June 28th, we're going to be doing the installation of the Pokai Bay statue with Carmen Simpliciano. I want to thank her for her ongoing support. August 26th, we're going to do the BWS Water Management Online Town Hall. I'll send an email for that. Lastly, hopefully by August or September, with the help of Representative Muraoka, we should be fixing Middle Park bathroom. So hopefully we'll see a new roof and it won't look terrible. It's burnt down right now. So I just want to thank him and his staff for coming out there to do a site visit. Yes, thank you. And I'm open for questions.
Chair Perry.
Yes, Board Member Perry.
Thank you, Andrea. So I know the monitoring, to add to that about the beach monitoring is for 1 year, 1 park only in the district. That's what I read on the resolution by Valerie.
Yes.
Also, you know, all the beach cleanup for the unsheltered.
Yes.
That should not come out of parks budget. That should come out of the housing budget because there's a housing issue that they're not in homes. So in all fairness, that should come out of housing budget and not parks. The parks, the children need programs, so the money should go for children programs and for parks improvement. Also, nonprofit that deals with the homeless, all of them should be accountable for all the homeless that is unsheltered. It's only fair to taxpayers that they ramp it up and get these families off of the street. Again, Farrington Highway is so shameful that I feel like I'm peering into their living room. That needs to change. They've been there too long. I think that needs to be changed. I know there's a budget 1.7 million for improvement Wai'anae Police Station. It'd be nice to have its staff as well. I think $700,000 for chain link fencing around Wai'anae neighborhood center. I think the facility inside should be improved. The reason for the safety concern of the chain link fence is because the vets is right next door and the overflow of the homeless that continues to roam freely. Is not a law against that, but that's what's causing the problem. And that center is supposed to have been temporary since Lindo Lingo, and it still exists in Wai'anae on Farrington Highway. That needs to change. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one clarification. The last time we had a surge of homeless come out and stay in front of the DMV, most of them got evicted from Kulia Kanu'u, not US Vets. But I hear you. I hear all of those things. We're making some steps, but valid concerns.
Board Member Dana, online.
Yeah, first I would like to thank Andrea for meeting with Nani and I via Zoom. Mahalo, and we'll continue the discussion in regards to trying to address those who live unsheltered. There was a comment that was stated was that follow the law. Are there exceptions to following the law? And then a follow-up question. In terms of development or in terms of utilization of the law to address behaviors of individuals. And then the next question that I had was, how do we determine safety? Because tonight safety is being spoken about, but we really don't have a baseline understanding of what safety is, what makes a person feel safe. So if you can just speak to that a little.
Thank you so much. First off, I think my comments about following the law were specifically when we're talking about group living facilities. There are a lot of communal living projects being proposed to be put out here in Wai'anae, but we already have a lot. And all the ones that we have are really having a hard time functioning. Today in the meeting that Rep. Maroka and I had with Cedar Farms, we actually encouraged them that if you don't need the emergency proclamation, how about let's not avoid skipping all the laws, because we would like for all of them to be followed. And they mentioned that they were, going to comply with the things that they're required to do. So if there is another question about, the law, you can ask that to me offline. Secondly, I would say public safety, if you wouldn't mind reading the policy statement that I put out, and I can email it to you. I defined safety based upon all the feedback from the 500 people who came, and that was moderated, and all the notes were taken by Kamehameha Schools. We had multiple meetings after that town hall to define what the community thought would be safe, and that's how I came up with the points for the public policy statement. And we also knocked doors all through Uluvehi, and we got surveys across the community filled out so that we could narrow down what things were missing that would equal a safer community.
Okay, I will take a read of that. Just
Thank
yeah,
you.
if you could email me and then I'll follow up offline. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Board Member Wilbur.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for all your updates. You've been pretty busy. I know Chris been busy out there too. The follow-up question to the closures of Makaha Beach Park. Was there any movement on that? If there was something that could be done about that?
Closures of Makaha Beach Park for,
It's the only city park that does not have any closure hours in the county.
you mean that there's not like 10 p.m. leave the beach?
Yeah.
I can bring it up to the director. Yeah, to be honest, every park has different times based upon what the community has put out there. So I'll review with her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I did sign. So
Oh, thank you
good
for
work.
signing.
Good work. I appreciate that. We have community members that would like to address.
Hello, Andrea, Monster Salcedo. Questions. Cedar Farm, yeah, it's been a big highlights many years of what they're happening there and all the bad behaviors. Where did they move to and where they got relocated to?
First off, I want to thank Auntie Sweet. She's still helping up at Cedar Farm. She's done wonderful work for free. She actually doesn't necessarily work for the church. They relocated everybody into housing. And so they are all not currently unhoused, whether it was open availability at shelters or families' homes or the houses that currently are on the property.
So actually, if they come back with a conditional use permit, why do they need to rebuild and establish when they're already housed already in different location? We don't need more this type of operations that's happening in our area. Am I right or wrong?
So I don't know if every single person is actually in permanent housing. And I think that's a good question as they pursue forward. Is what you're building permanent? So you hope to permanently house people, or is what you're doing transient, meaning like you're going to give them a place and then you're going to locate them into permanent housing? Today was our very, very first meeting about it. So I will keep you updated. I mean, I think Coco's question is valid.
Thank you, Austin.
Yeah, thank you.
And I got another community member.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll come right back.
You guys can hear. Hello. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Kele Akana. I hear we're talking about public safety, police, community, the police being called in to help the community. But what we're not understanding is how the funding is being used and how cover-ups are happening. So on May 1st, I was sitting in my car in Howbush. I have a ministries. My mission is to end child trafficking and human trafficking in Hawaii. Many people know me. Many people know that's what we started instead of running for office last year or last round. I was lawfully parked in a park at 7 o'clock in the morning when I was approached by this officer, Officer Gaber. Officer Gaber, while I was parked, the vehicle was not on and I was lawfully there without any warrants for my arrest, approached my vehicle and asked me for my name and my social security number, which is a violation of policies. You're not supposed to ask for that.
I'm sorry, this is this specifically for
Yes,
council?
because she was at the Stuck City Council meeting that we went
Okay.
to. So how can the police officers, if anybody wants to see these pictures and who the officers are, you guys can come and see me and Joe. You can go onto his Facebook because we released it. To protect the people and to ask the HPD to protect the people, and they go and violate people. They have no warrants to go into their car, arrest them, beat them up, taser them, baton them without a warrant, then come to the police station and give me one warrant that's unsigned for an $11,000 bond and then cover up inside the court system as well. The average person doesn't have the ability to follow every single court case. The average person doesn't have the ability to afford to fight their own court case. And the first thing that the officers think about is, well, this is our policy. We can do it, and you can get one attorney. My bills are already at $8,000 for medical treatments, and the city and county is trying to have us pay for the beating that they put on me and the tasering and the bruising. So how is it that you guys are going to reform the police not to show up with 5 people to beat up one lady sitting in the car at 7 o'clock in the morning? And you guys are going to be able to protect the kupuna and the keiki when there's already another incident that came to the ministries last week about them doing the same thing. These same 3 officers doing the same thing to one kid last week. But his ribs was punctured, his lung was punctured, and they left him in the hospital. At the hospital, Pa'aluhi claimed to everybody in the parking lot that he had punched me in the face. And yet, like he said, he never heard nothing about it yet. So if the city's going to cover it up, they're going to make us pay for a car that was stolen by them when they said it was going to go into the impound or should be at the impound. It's not at the impound. How do you guys really know, Andrea, where the money is going, who's getting paid when it doesn't? It's obvious that there are many, many cases that are being suppressed by HPD and the Attorney General's office. And it's obvious to me that everyone still needs federal funding to make sure that they have a job. But at the end of the day, I am not a criminal. I wasn't a criminal. I wasn't a typical dumb Hawaiian sitting in my car on that morning when I was violated, when my car was entered, when I was punched in the face by 2 male officers, when I was batoned by another male officer, and I was tased with 200,000 volts. That is excessive force. That is police brutality. What are we paying the police for other than to just show up in drones to take down a single person?
Thank you, ma'am.
At 7 o'clock in the morning with nobody else supposed to be there? And we do have witnesses, we do have affidavits, and I recorded the engagement. So Andrea, like by what everybody's asking for, more police funding, protect the blue, the numbers that the people can't see that are transparent, the court cases that are being hidden because they have 2 court cases against me for first felony assault of a police officer. How does a community member who cannot afford to go through all of this fight the state when the state is in charge? That's who's coming after me now, is the state. Not city and county, not the police officers I supposedly violated, but the state is suing me for protecting myself in self-defense.
Thank you so much, Kele. And first off and foremost, our prayers and our love for her. Because when she shared this story in the city council, it was just heartbreaking. I can't say that every action of every police officer is noble. I know that Major Lambert, many times when he would stand up, said the majority of us are good guys, but there's always those bad apples making all of us look bad. And I can say that on our end for city council, I've actually never asked for more funding for the police because they just returned 50 million that they didn't use. I've actually asked them to make a plan so we actually know what's going on. There's been a lot of what I would call asleep at the wheel. I don't know why there's not a written plan, why 50 million was returned. So I can say that the resolution I'm trying to fight for is to actually write out like what can we expect? There's a lot of monies, I would agree with you, that are unaccounted for. So I'm hoping that this interim chief and the new chief that steps in can answer questions articulately because we've gotten very little answers at the council. Lastly, I would say that on the council side, when there are officers that are violating their protocol or their policies, that we hear those cases as settlements. There are many officers that are dismissed from HPD. There are officers that are jail. There are officers that are fined in the millions for huge mistakes that have cost the city because of their poor decisions, such as excessive use of force. The most recent one that we did was the one that happened up in town where they assaulted a man from Africa and killed him. And later it was apparently wrong guy. He had CTE and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but the officers didn't identify who they were. So we had to settle that case with the family, which is super unfortunate. So all I can say is I just texted the major. I will write to her to see if I can't find specificity on this specific case. But I would agree that there is never not 100% of the officers doing exactly what they are supposed to. So please, let's hold people accountable, those few. And remember that there are a majority of officers that are trying their best to try to protect us in the public. But I do make a commitment that I'll write a letter and find as much information for you as possible. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Due to time, we have to move to our next agenda item. I think Joe Takuta's representative was online. JB Arula, are you still there online?
Hello? Yes, I'm still here.
Go ahead.
Aloha everybody. Right now I'm currently the new staff member that's assigned to our Wai'anae portion here at Congresswoman Takuta's office. Just for me myself, I actually I worked at the state before. Actually, I don't know if you remember me, Phil, but we were we were right next to each other at the state. So yeah, very nice to see you again, and let's just get into it. So the Congresswoman's work in DC. I just want to update all you guys. Primarily, she's done a lot of work with House Democrats to vote against the Republican budget bill that cuts 880 billion from Medicaid, 313 billion from SNAP, and 500 billion from Medicare. It increases the national debt by 45 trillion, and here in Hawaii alone, 54,000, at least 54,000 are expected to lose healthcare, and the 161,000 people that rely on SNAP could be impacted. The congressman also recently introduced the GHOST Act, otherwise known as the Gun Hardware Oversight and Shipment Tracking Act, to help our law enforcement prevent the spread of ghost guns. Essentially, this act would develop systems to observe interstate shipments of gun kits being used to build ghost guns. It also detects people who are acquiring gun parts, but they're not licensed to acquire firearms. The congresswoman also recently condemned the Department of Labor's decision to pause the Job Corps. It's so stressful already for our young people here to sort of make a living, and she just mentioned, especially, she praised the Job Corps for the role in the Maui crisis, and she is vowed to fight against the cuts that's happening to them. In some other more lighthearted updates, recently, the Congresswoman has announced the winner for Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District in the Congressional Art Competition. Everything has been submitted from multiple islands. A pencil and paper drawing titled Self-Portrait was selected as the winner. This person name is Emily Ann Oshiro. She's a senior at James B. Castle High School. Another one is that our office has recently announced the launch of the 2025 Congressional App Challenge. This is open to all middle and high school students living in Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District. And, we want to encourage everybody and their kids to come and learn coding and computer science. Also, the Congresswoman recently has attended graduation season. She was at Kauai High, Wai'anae High School, and Wailua High and Intermediate School. And also, we have upcoming town halls planned for the islands of Lanai and Molokai. All of this information can be found in our neighborhood board report, which I've circulated to Jeffrey. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm here to take any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, JB. Appreciate that, and congratulations on working for Council Member Joe Zakuta. Hey,
Perry?
one question though, JB, if we could help close this loop with ghost guns. One of the deals that when I was actually traveling, I found that the ghost guns are actually coming by mail, 100%ers. So these 100%ers, meaning that they're the lower receivers of these weapons, and they can be easily mailed, which is legal to be mailed in the mail to any individual without an FFL license. You know what I mean? And then of course it's supposed to be to one who can, but these are the way the weapons are coming in. If Congresswoman could actually look into closing that loop, because when individuals from these areas, these states can purchase this lower receivers and ship it to a family member without any how do you say that, consequences. So I think that's one of the only ways we can close this loop, with being able to track it. Same as drugs, right? They can X-ray it and then do that. Thanks, JB. I'm going to pass this on to Board Member Perry. Question, Board Member Perry.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting and every month hereafter. I would like to thank the Congress member for saving my Constitution. I'd like to thank her for saving the rule of law. I would like to thank her for saving FEMA. I would like to thank her for saving Medicare, Medicaid, for the seniors that are in nursing facilities. I would like to thank her for saving military benefits for active and retirees services. The only way this can be achievable if two sides work together. As you know, this community depend heavily on social programs. Without that, there's no Wai'anae. So thank you for all her efforts, and see you next month. Even though I may not be a board member, but I'm still reside in this community and I still have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Perry. Any other board members? Online, none. Okay, any community members? If not, we're going to move on. Thank you, JB. Do appreciate Congresswoman Takuta. Hello, and hope she's doing well. Thank you again. Okay,
Thank you, guys. Mahalo.
We're moving on to Governor Green's representative. Is Diamond? There she is. There you go, Diamond.
Yep, I'm here. Thank you. So I did send out Governor Green's e-newsletter earlier in the week. And aloha and good evening, Chair and board members. Diamond Badajos, Information and Community Relations Officer for the Department of Hawaiian Homeland, serving as Gov's rep this evening. But yes, so his e-newsletter went out, and I only have one follow-up today for board member Perry in regards to the State Office of Homelessness and Housing Solutions. So if I may really quickly just read what was sent over to me from the governor's office. So the statewide Office of Homeless and Housing Solutions has determined that the homeless encampment gathered behind Kamaile Academy School is not part of Governor's Kauhale initiative and is not included under the Governor's Emergency Proclamation on Homelessness. We encourage the Wai'anae Neighborhood Board to engage with Kealoha West Oahu as it is designated homeless outreach as the designated homeless outreach provider for this region. I believe this board is familiar with that organization, but that's kind of it. And I also believe Council Member Tupola briefly touched upon similar initiatives. So that's kind of it that I have for me, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Board Member Perry.
Thank you. Damien, thank you for all your services with the governor's office. Thank you for this information. And I would like to add also that any nonprofit that deals with the homeless, population be held accountable for all the homeless. Thank you.
Thank you for your time on the board too.
No one else on online? Board Member Joe Jordan.
Hello?
Yeah, that's all right. Yes, I have a question. You said there's a homeless encampment behind Kamaile Public Charter School. Are they on government property, which could be DHHL or state, or are they on private pieces of property? Because Kealoha West can only engage on public property unless they get the permission to go onto the private property. So could you please identify where they're actually located?
Sure, yeah, noted. Let me follow up on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Any other board members? If not, we're going to move over to community.
Thank you, Chair. My name is James Cowles. I hope I'm addressing the right person. I want to find out what's going on with the construction for the Pokai Bay brick wall. The money was allocated to DLNR. The money is there. Why hasn't anything been done to that wall, which is supposed to be fixed by now? Thank you.
Noted. Thank you. I'll follow up.
Hello, Governor's Rep. My name is Austin Salcedo. I'm just curious, as you refer to homelessness go to Kealoha West Oahu, why is there somehow a segregation only Kealoha West Oahu when SR 30, I think it was 2024, SR 30, Senate resolution, had identified Partners in Care, Laura E. Thielen, on this. Then Laura E. Thielen, Partners in Care, would distribute to whatever means of outreach program, because they're in charge of the point and count. So why is there a special contract for Kealoha West Oahu as an outreach? Is there a segregation to only them for the west side? And also on the SR 30 itself, it's very important of point and count of how many of these operations that's happening in our area. Laura E. Thielen apparently is the relative of the governor who made the contractor of the governor's emergency proclamation. So there's some type of political ties here that should be cited as a conflict as well too. So is it a political affiliation, that segregation to only the Thielens that's being into this thing, this matter? So that's a question in the political world. I don't play politics.
Thank you. If no more community, Ms. Clay, one more diamond and then we're going to move on. Thank you.
Yep.
Aloha, Governor's Rep. Kalei
Aloha.
Salcedo. You know, we hear about the governor, yes, and the governor said it's the city's problem and it's up, you know, the finger pointing needs to stop. The finger pointing needs to stop. When a governor uses a government emergency proclamation, it's not a natural disaster. So when you want to turn around and say, we're going to do some house listings as an emergency proclamation, where's the disaster? Houseless, homeless is not a disaster. 20 plus years, people have been trying to solve the problem. It's not going to happen. If you folks going to keep pointing finger, I dare the governor with the mayor, and with all Kealoha West Oahu, all the responsibility, who's doing a nonprofit organization, housing is homeless. You folks made the problem. You folks need to collaborate, communicate, stop the gentrification, and stop compromising the well-being and safety of our community. We're honest taxpayers. We want to be safe. So these nonprofit organizations that's getting the approval by the government emergency proclamation, no matter what it is, it's a problem our government officials had created. Now, I challenge you folks to fix it. Don't make the taxpayer fix it. Don't make the hard-earned people fix it. You guys created the problem. Open the doors, revolving doors, close that doors. You have to. You are compromising Hawaii, my home, which people call paradise, because it's freezing Okole in the mainland and it's still being transported here.
Thank you, Calais.
Stop compromising the well-being of Hawaii.
Thank you, Calais. Thank you, Ms. Salcedo. Appreciate that. Thank you, Diamond. Do appreciate you for the night. You have a great night. Thank you again. Okay, we are going to move on to Senator DeCourt. She's online. Senator DeCourt.
Aloha and good evening, Chair and board members, Samantha DeCourt. Please excuse my absence. I'm actually on the road. Myself as well as some of our caucus will be headed to Washington, D.C. To advocate for a lot of the resources on the Wai'anae coast. We do have a few meetings. One of them is with the Department of Defense. As you know, Makua's lease is setting to lapse in 2029. So it's important that we get in front of this to make sure that when they start making plans to do the cleanup, that we are at the table. In addition to us being able to be at the table with input on the cleanup, we all know what happened with Ho'olave, that they also pay us for these, they also pay our community as well. So we're going to be getting in front of them with regards to that. We are going to be meeting with the Department of Interior as well, just to make sure that our programs that are covered through Native Hawaiian resources, that is still a priority as we are a federally recognized community. And then also we will be advocating for the adjustment of the blood quantum. Right now it's at a quarter, and we are hoping to advocate for it to be 132 of the blood quantum. We've got to really start addressing the issue that 25 percenters are starting to be less and less. So we will be meeting with them along with the Department of Education, the Department of Health, just to make sure that while there's a lot of movement happening on the federal level, that we are the state, as the state, are going up to advocate for the continual resources here. So we leave tonight. We get there tomorrow at 6 p.m. We have full meetings on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we return home Monday morning. So I do have Malia and Nia are there in person. If you guys do have any questions, also Nia will go ahead and put it in the chat. Just with regards to Mr. Cowell's request with the jetty wall, I am in contact actually with Dobar for those two issues, the jetty wall and also the buoy relocation that Kingdom Pathways has been continuing to advocate for. And you are right, $5 million was allocated, and we need to make sure that it moves forward. Otherwise, we're gonna lapse that funding. So other than that, I do want to thank our Lahui that was there at the Sovereignty Conference this week. It was really good to see 96792 representing strong amongst our Native Hawaiian community, and also other people that have traveled from outside of our state and outside of the continent. So with that, I'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Thank you.
Chair Perry.
Board Member Perry. Board Member Perry. And then we'll go online.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Samantha, if you could continue, since you're on the Water Committee, continue to follow up on the PFAS in our drinking water. Also, the big bill at DC, the cuts, which will impact Medicaid, SNAP, which this community heavily utilize. Without that, there's no Wai'anae. And you also sit on the Education Committee. So, this community, as you know, have been Democratic. Now you're Republican. Hopefully there's be much more improvement in public education the aesthetics on Framingham Highway, and the unsheltered homeless. Thank you for supporting the blood quantum. However, you did not support DHHL funding for additional funding. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Board Member Wai'anae. Kahuhu, are you there?
Good to see you, Senator, today. I just wanted to wish you a well as you and Garcia, you folks venture to DC on behalf of us, you know. So good job today at the conference, and I'm looking forward to information when you come back from DC.
Aloha, will do. Thank you very much, board member.
I'm going to go with Board Member Dana.
Aloha, Samantha. Basically, just a couple of questions in regards to Native Hawaiian recognition. It was you stated that Native Hawaiians have recognition in what sense?
So under the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, Department of Interior is a department that has been developed for our Native Hawaiian communities and American Indian communities. So that's the Department of Interior who we'll be meeting with on Friday.
Okay, and two more questions. One is that do you believe that Native Hawaiians should
Board Member Dana, you can have one question. Board Member Dana,
Okay.
one question.
I just wanted clarity to the first. So I guess the question is, do Native Hawaiians have the right to determine where and how the resources should be distributed without state help? And when it comes to Makua, is the state engaging with Malama Makua and also some of the lineal descendants with regards to the movement forward?
So I don't necessarily know who is going to be at the table. I'm just trying to get in front of it to make sure that as they're forming these groups that they are taking in our community. So we're not there yet. I'm just trying to get in front of it to pitch that to them to make sure that we are at the table, because when they pulled out of Kaho'olawe, we all know that they did a very poor job, yet they spent 400+ million on that cleanup, and they didn't give us a voice on that. So again, because the lease apparently is going to be lapsing, I want to just get in front of that.
Thank you, Senator Smith. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, because of time, Board Member Dana, you can email her in the chat, or you can email her her representatives here. Thank you, Senator DeCourt. I appreciate you. Please
Thank
have
you.
safe travels and represent
Thank you.
Hawaii well. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next line. Representative Chris Maroka.
Good evening, board. So I'll just give you guys a couple of things that we're working on right now. First of all, I wanted to just clear up what council member had mentioned earlier about the Cedar Farms deal. I was on that meeting today, and I was very adamant that since Cedar Farms was saying that they plan on following all of the rules in order to get that, I was very adamant about them not seeking the emergency proclamation. Because if you plan on doing it by the rules, you don't need an emergency proclamation. So I am following up with Ernie Martin, who is their attorney. And hopefully by next meeting, along with council member, we'll work on that. A couple of the things that we are working on, really happy to say we finally got Spectrum to fix those wires at the bottom of Wai'anae Valley Road. That was something that I didn't want to do, but I just proved to them that I can do. And when I say I can do, I just showed them that Wai'anae is still in me. It took several harshly worded emails because they didn't follow up. And for me, I'm not a we'll see guy. it was a danger. The wires were sticking out into the road and hanging really low over the sidewalk. So we took care of that. So that got done. You know, Mr. Lanford, I know was on big push, help you. Thank you. When we get community like that for push, in regards to the very poor job of paving in front of Burger King. That's something else that, you know, again, it was a, you know, sometimes they force me to be Wai'anae. And I'm going to fight for Wai'anae. That's why I ran for this position. I'm going to fight for Wai'anae. I really don't care what they think or feel. So we got that done. Again, it's another Band-Aid because it's still not what it should be. But we are working, following up and making sure. So I will say this, Board of Water Supply are not pavers. And they're actually in a tough situation because I've just learned this, that even though they have a water main break, they can only patch it. They still have to then apply for permits to fix it correctly. And then they go out, they hire a company, which is crazy. And I promise you guys, we're actually going to try and push for legislation along with council member to automatically grant that. You know, I mean, when they do one repair, I mean, I use this 2 words running my campaign. I'm going to use them tonight. We get a water main break. Common sense tells you it has to be repaved. So we should already be looking for a paving company on the standby. We should already cut the red tape on the permitting because we know it's got to be done. It saves the community heartache. It saves the you know, so much. And you know, out here on Wai'anae, one of the big things I'm pushing for is our infrastructure. Yeah, our infrastructure is in dire need of assistance. We cannot handle the current capacity we are already at. So these are things that we're looking at. Did have a really good meeting out at Kiawaula Bay. You know, one of the things I'm pushing at, you know, you guys will hear me say over and over and over, family is first. And so I'm trying to see if we can come. We had a very productive meeting and we're going to try and create a plan on reopening Kiawaula for family camping. Maybe open Friday mornings and close Sunday evening. There was a lot of good talk. It was a very productive meeting with the state as well as the people who care for the land. Really good input. And Wai'anae, we got to be better. Period. We got to be better. We kind of keep asking for things and we keep trashing them. So that was one of the bigger concerns. Let me go over here. So, you know, I'll kind of tag along with what everybody was talking about, the Poke Bay Jetty, the water, the money is there. It was allocated. It hasn't been dispersed yet. I'd encourage everybody to support Kingdom Pathways. They are doing a heck of a job in spearheading that. I work with Joe Simpliciano and his wife, Carmen, and they are doing a heck of a job in spearheading that. I think there's one more thing they might be waiting for as far as current flow, because if we just fix the jetty back to where it was, it's going to happen again in the future. So they're working on something like that. And Joe and Carmen do a tremendous job, you know, not only on that, but so much other things. They do some town halls. They did a really good one on the cesspool deals. So if you guys have the time, get out and support them. They're really, really good for our community. We are working, my office had really good productive meetings. One of the big issues, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of, is Uluvehi. You know, I know there's a lot of talk about the lease is lapsing and whatnot for Makua. I want to bring a little more importance that leases are lapping for Uluvehi. And, you know, let me clarify that statement because I know it's going to come back and haunt me. I'm not saying Makua isn't important. I'm saying Uluvehi will produce homeless people. With the way that the land lease cost is going to increase, people cannot afford it. And that's been a really, really big concern of theirs. So we're currently working on that. You know, homelessness is a big issue. If we can keep people from becoming homeless, that's where it starts. Oh, our next, you know, this is for Board Member Johnny May because she has a lot of good ideas. I hear all through the night, and everybody here who can hear me. A lot of good ideas, lots of good ideas. However, very poor performance when it comes to showing up. Action, yeah? Thank you, whoever said that. That's perfect. I host a monthly talk story session for these exact reasons, so we can hear the ideas, so we can push them forward. But if we're going to have armchair quarterbacks, we're going to have the same results we have in. We need people to come out. You know, talking is the easiest thing to do. Everybody knows how to do it. Come out, support. There's a lot of programs. And if any of you guys know who I am, you guys know that I'm not afraid to be the opposition. I will speak on it. I will act on it. And I will do everything in my power to get it done. But we need those ideas to be brought forward. Yeah, we get homeless. Yeah, we're looking into living rooms and bathrooms. But what are the solutions we can do? You know, what are we doing about it? Because I can tell you right now, I know that question is coming, so I'll just go ahead and answer it. The people that you're looking into their living rooms and bathrooms and stuff, they're choosing to be there. The people who want help have been helped or are being helped. So the ones that are remaining, the ones that are third world country looking, we need them to want the help. We did a cleanup on sewers. We had 2 people from the community show up on behalf of the people on the beach. And I salute them for that because they put their mouth where their money is, or their money where their mouth is. They showed up on behalf. That's action. Now, even though they were going against me, I strongly support that because you don't have to agree with me to believe in something. If you believe in something, stand up for it and come and argue with me. And your argument or our discussion can lead to a solution. But sitting, pointing, blaming, having all these, it gets us nowhere. I got any questions?
Chair Perry.
Board Member Perry.
Yeah. Okay, so before I go on to my questions, can you elaborate infrastructure? Can you also elaborate on Uluvehi before I ask my questions?
Board Member Perry, these are some of the items. I won't elaborate in fairness of time. I will say we had a meeting set up. You canceled the meeting. If you want to reschedule, please do.
I went to your office. I already did that, okay? And to infer that I'm a chair, sit on the chair, I go directly to the sources, okay? I go to where it belongs. Okay, so I'm not complaining about it. I give solution and I go directly to the department that's involved.
And
You know, you represent this community, elected officials come and go, come and go. We in the community continue to live what is left behind. So you don't know how I operate. I don't know how you operate, but I've gone to these meetings many times. I don't have to deal with the elected officials. I can just go directly to the sources if I need to. If it requires your office, I go directly to you.
Yeah.
And I went to your office.
Board Member
Okay?
Perry.
Just
what
look
is
at the,
question?
just look up. Now, my question is to you as a representative to this community is, you're part of the education committee. So if you could come up with some vocational programs and work with Wai'anae High School because you're a small business owner. And that is a skill that you could mentor the high school students among. And also Wahiwa Playground was burned down and it was private donors that will rebuild the playground, not taxpayers. There's outside donors from the mainland have given money to improve Pokai Bay. As a small business owner, I think you have the skill to collaborate with Wai'anae Rotary Club or McDonald's. You know, we have corporation that operates in this community. Maybe they have some kind of community benefit that could benefit
Johnny May.
the schools for traveling expense. And I would end there. Thank you.
Okay, so Johnny, may I address some of that? We already do. Everything you said, we already do. If you look at the West Side Stories, you'll see my wife and I help support. If you turn to the page, you'll see my wife and I will help support DECA to get to the mainland. Now, DECA.
Chair, shouldn't there be order here, Chair?
Thank you,
So,
gentlemen.
so
Okay, quiet down, please. Order, point of order, please.
Chair,
let's be respectful.
do your job, Chair.
Let's be
Thank you.
respectful of the board members. You know, like I said, you don't have to agree with me, but I will answer your question. So my wife and I, we do get along and we do get involved. Again, if you look at West Side Stories, they said thank you. We helped send the DECA, which is a entrepreneur club from the high school to the mainland, in which they did very well. I'll leave that there. The second thing is through my small business.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Through my small business,
Sure.
we employed 3 students from Wai'anae High School, and we worked with Vice Principal Sugui, Vice Principal Moranaka. Is she Vice Principal? I'm not sure, but Miss Moranaka, and we employed 3 senior students this year in vocational. Now, my office did also meet with Ron Takeda, the head of the Carpenters Union, Mr. George Paris, head of the Ironworkers Union, as well as other union leads, and we are bringing vocational programs into the schools. So yes, we are working on that. As a small business owner, I want to see people of my community succeed. Those programs are already doing it. I don't say these things to talk. I have proof. We hired 3, one of which just turned full-time, the second of which sits in the back of this room. So we are doing that.
Okay, due to time, thank you, Representative Maroka, I appreciate you. We have to move on. Sorry, Dana, we have to go on. We have people who are here who are wanting to present. So go ahead, Mr. Lanford, one last one,
Yeah,
and we need to move on.
I just want to thank Chris, but I also want to thank Darius Killa and his office staff to jump on that project there on Farrington Highway. I know it's only a patch job, like Chris said, but you know it's better than what it was. Thank you again, you guys, our elected officials. Bye-bye.
And
Can
then
you just
Representative
ask
Maroka,
when-
please tell everyone when is your talk story?
So
your talk
yes,
story?
our
Yeah,
next
that's
talk
what I
story
wanted to know.
session is June 20th at 7 o'clock at the Wai'anae Public Library. June 20th, yes, at Wai'anae Public Library.
June 20th. Thank you, Representative Maroka. Thank you. Hurry up, Raquel.
Thank you. Aloha mai kako. My name is Raquel Araki, and I think something that would help a lot of the students with their identity crisis is to treat them equally. So our 2025 graduates, they had received their lei ceremony in the parking lot behind the new field, and everything was blowing in straight into the water. There was no fence to protect everything. And football players are able to run on the field with cleats, and golf carts can drive on them, but people can't lay their children on it. I just thought that was kind of foolish. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna move on to presentations because of time limit, guys. So we're gonna move 6 below their presentations, and we're gonna go ahead and do our presentations at 7.3. The survey and study of Hawaii commercial and recreations, our fishery.
All right, if I share screen. Should be coming up.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
Good evening. Thank you, Community Board, for inviting us here to speak. We are recently in Wai'anae on the 28th of April to address and meet with fishers in the community to hear about their concerns, challenges, and problems with climate change and things and barriers that are keeping them from being able to fish and feed their families. Next slide, please. My name is Alex Min. I work for Pacific Island Fisheries Group. We're a not-for-profit organization based in Honolulu. We've been around for 20 years. We are contracted by the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Council to conduct 68 meetings across the region, speaking with fishers on their challenges, barriers to fishing, and issues they're facing. So we have two priority areas in our work over the next 2 years. It's one, listen to the communities and understand their impacts, their needs, their issues. We're not there to give them 3 minutes to testify or say what's going on. We're there to listen. So we appreciate the Wai'anae community for coming out. The second piece is capacity building. So we have a fisher vocational training program that will take place in September. This is a pilot program to bring community members from across the region together to learn about commercial fishing and help stimulate the next generation. It's a small cohort, but again, we have flyers. And if there's interest from Wai'anae, we're absolutely interested to give them opportunity as well. Next slide. So again, just a quick update. We've been to Guam, Marianas. We've done Hawaii. So we've done 13 meetings so far across our region, listening to the fishing community's voices. We're going to American Samoa this month, and then we'll repeat that process. So one of the recommendations to the council was come out to Wai'anae from the community. So we came out to speak with the Wai'anae community. The next round, we will go to different areas, but we want to continue to engage with the Wai'anae fishers and hear about their issues and concerns so they can be addressed. That being said, September will be when we do the Young Fishers Vocational Training Program, and applications are available right now. Next slide. So this was an update from our meeting in Wai'anae on the 29th of April. Again, thank you to Wai'anae Intermediate for letting us use the space. We reached out to a lot of schools. It's very hard to get into schools to host public events. This seems like a great space, so if we come back out, we may try to use this as well. Next slide. So just my slides got changed a little bit. No fault to anyone. I sent different slides over, but kind of a general update on what we're seeing across the region here in Hawaii is environmental changes. This is the question we're asking. What do fishers see changing? What is going on? So we heard, sedimentation's a big issue for the near shore, but that also affects offshore. We heard that ahi are getting smaller. This was corroborated from some data we looked at in commercial landings. People used to catch, on average, more 250, 200-pound ahi. Lately, they're looking more at 70 to 90 pounds on average. So that's a change in our fishery. For other things, shark depredation has been a huge issue, as well as infrastructure. One person on Maui stated it best. They said their harbors are overused, underfunded, and unsafe. That's not just on Maui. We're seeing that across the islands and hearing from fishers. That's an access issue and getting out. Along with that, things have changed. Fads aren't holding fish as well. And our Kauai fishermen were concerned about the continued bombing at Ka'ula Rock, as the no notice to fishers, is a huge economic impact to them if they're out there and get sent off. Next slide. We can skip this one. I did have some feedback from Molokai, but the video doesn't play. So from Wai'anae, when we came out here on the 29th, we heard some of the issues and we wanted to bring them up and share what the community said. One being there's user conflict with tour boats disturbing the areas where fishers historically and culturally practice. There's issues with monk seals, protected species. We had a protected species expert from NOAA join us that night. They said the monk seal population in the main Hawaiian Islands about 500, and the goal is to reach 600. So that's good information, but what does that look like for the fishers who grew up not experiencing any monk seals, and how does that change matter? In terms of access and market opportunities, The Wai'anae fisher community stated that they could easily land 1 million pounds sustainably of akule, though there isn't really a market to provide this. So market access and opportunity is really important in a limiting barrier. And then I think this is something we as fishers all think about, fish are getting smarter, and we're using and adapting as well. Next slide. And so finally, the second piece is the vocational fisher training pilot program. Again, this is an 8-day training program to help stimulate passionate participants in the fishing industry or interested in getting into it. We're going to do an 8-day training program. We're going to provide lodging and stipend as well as gear to those fishers who are part of it. That being said, I don't have anything else to add, but happy to take questions or feedback on how we can better engage the Wai'anae community and fishers.
Alex,
Next slide.
if you could please get with Representative Maroka. SureCan is hosting the IE tournament, so I think you'd align perfectly with that, or your people from your office to informational tent as well, since it's a big event.
Thank you. Yep.
Chair Perry.
Yes, with Board Member Perry.
Okay, I did go online. I did research about your agency. I did come across the flyer for the cohort program. I did mail it out to whatever email I had available.
Thank you.
Once upon a time in Wai'anae, we had sunfish, and there was started in the backyard. Okay, and I know Wai'anae High School have a limo program. It'd be beneficial to this community if you're on board and if working with the school and the representative to maybe bring back that program, starting a hatchery or like a small aquaculture program, including sea urchin, only once before in Pokai Bay. So I think when I need to change our image, and hopefully you can help us with that, and whatever produce we help sustain food supply, the fish, for example, there would be a huge benefit to our community. And I, the one that requested to the board, the chair, for you to come to our meeting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going online. We're going to go with Board Member Dana. And then we'll go Board Member Jordan.
So aloha. The question is, are traditional farming methods being looked at as opportunities for our community in terms of, again, fish farming, using traditional methods, fish ponds?
Is that in terms of the vocational fisher training program, or is that in terms of the
I don't know, you
council?
can answer it. It's just a broad question to you in terms of like when we come up with solution, like you made mention that some of the fishers were concerned about monk seal populations. You know, what was the solution, or what kind of suggestion did your organization have to those individuals who are consider themselves commercial fishermen? Because commercial fishermen were not part of our traditions before. We had a system of, you know, having fish ponds and maintaining a level of balance within the system. So I'm just trying to gather information on how to like bring solutions to the table.
Thank you. So our meetings have been focused on listening. We don't have a solution to that. I think that's something that hopefully someday we can come up with. But it was there really to listen and hear their feedback. It does seem like it's a growing concern and is a changing part of the ecosystem that might feel out of balance to some.
Thank you. Board Member Joe Jordan.
Yes, thank you for coming. It's been a long time. I think our community has been very proactive on ocean resources along this coastline. One thing I've heard over the many, many years is we don't want an ORMA here. The ocean recreation managed area because currently from Eva to Kaena is not one. That's kind of what you see off of Waikiki, right? With parasails and other activities. We have lost many of our koa off our coastline due to the increase of commercial tourism, dolphin, whale watching, scuba diving, which has affected that transit on our ocean, which conflicted with akuli and opelo fishing, which has great fishing grounds out here. And I think, how can you support that? We were once targeted for a fishery to be built off of Maili, which is community squashed. We are currently still being targeted to put windmills off of Kaena, which that is great fishing grounds off there by the federal government. You know, we need to really have these deep conversations. And, you know, if I'm still correct, you know, the Wai'anae Small Boat Harbor still has restrictions on commercial fishing. Commercial non-fishing licenses, and it's a commodity. What we wanted to support was commercial fishing. And hopefully that still stands with the state on who can get those licenses to fish off our coastline. But that doesn't stop the private owned Ko'olina Harbor that brings out their boats and does the transit. So how do we have these deeper conversations on protecting our ocean highways and byways for our practitioners, for our food consumption, because that's our refrigerator out there. So I'm glad you're out here this evening. So I think it's one of the first times that I've seen the last 20 years, but I appreciate it because I used to attend your meetings down in Honolulu. So thank you.
Thank you. And those are deep questions and things we as a community need to work on. So I appreciate that. And I think we were supposed to have someone online taking notes for us. So we'll take those back to the federal council.
Board Member Endo.
I'm one of those fishermen that used to fish years ago, catching those 250 pounders. One of the big problems is when they built Wai'anae Boat Harbor. People were ignorant of the current that flowed. They kept Pokai Bay clean. Once they built that wall, it stopped the current from flowing along the shoreline. And all the rubbish that comes out of the canal now goes straight into Pokai Bay. So not only fixing Pokai Bay wall, we need to fix the Wai'anae Boat Harbor wall so the currents can flow under the wall, flush out the harbor. Because I always remember this chemist, he used to fish with us at the harbor. He said, don't eat the mullet. The seaweed is so contaminated, the mullet high concentration in Singataria. So the boat harbor is contaminated because there's no way to flush it out. The other thing we keep bringing up, asking the Board of Water Supply, Maui was able to do it. Let the water flow from the mountains to the ocean. Once they started capturing the water and redirecting our rivers like in Anakuli, it affected our ocean population as well. So those are big items.
And those are great points. And things we're trying to address is cultural and place-based knowledge from the fishing community in historical events that might have occurred that altered the ecosystem. We heard from all the islands, Limu largely disappeared. And it's a huge concern how that affects both the nearshore and offshore environment. A lot of fishers speculated it's due to the loss of the plantations and the detritus and nutrients flowing from. So again, as we've shifted, we've seen a lot of changes as well.
Okay, we're going to take one person from online, that's Nani, and then we have to move on to Mount Farms. Nani?
Mahalo, fella. First, real quick, I wanted to say mahalo, Auntie Johnny May, Tiana, and Kale, for your service, your ike, your aloha for our moku. And mahalo, Auntie Johnny May, for bringing this presentation here. Kalamai Brother, I forgot your name, but it's okay. So our ocean's been great enough. And so you get a lot of work to do as far as giving back before you even take. And that's just my opinion. And I say that humbly. The Limu restoration is a must. I don't know if you've connected with Kuleana Coral, but our coral restoration is a must. Please keep the cultural aspect involved all the way around, including in your training. And keep the culture, make sure that we're involved all the time. Don't do anything before we say as a community. Please.
Thank you, Nani.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Alex. Just want to let everyone know we are one community, yeah? Regardless if we're divided into two separate boards, we are still one community, and this board serves as a connection with Nanakuli's board. So be mindful, be respectful. Thank you. Now we're moving on to Ma'o Farms.
Aloha mai kako. We have three presenters in this presentation, so we're going to be really quick to respect everyone's time. Chair, board members, community. Aloha mai kako. O Sharice Julita Kawiki Lani Sana ko ino piha no lolole mael. He mahi ai o. I'm a mahi ai. Born and raised in Lolole. And I am here to present about Ma'o Farms. We're a community-based organization. Ma'o started in the year 2000 with trying to figure out solutions to community concerns back then, which were at the time for this group of people, was our young people and our food insecurity. So they created more organic farms, and its sole mission was to grow food and grow young leaders, and grow young leaders for our community. I am one of those young leaders. I've been on the farm for 18 years now, graduated from Wai'anae High School 2007, been on the farm ever since then, and I have seen my own personal growth. I have seen the farm's growth. With this integrated mission of young people and growing certified organic food with the practice of Aloha Aina, Malama Aina, and Malama Kanaka. From 5 acres, we are now 281 acres, providing food for our community, and to outside communities, to restaurants, to grocery stores, to food distributions like that the Wai'anae Comp helps to distribute to our Kiki and Kupuna in our community. Over the last 5 years, recently, we were able to grow over 2 million pounds of food, grow over 40 different types of fruits and vegetables. And currently, right now, we're producing about 4 tons of food a week, and have the capabilities and opportunities to grow it 5 times more in the next 5 to 10 years. Since then, because we have a college internship program and high school internship programs, which are all paid internships, we have now been able to work with over 200 OPIO or young people who all got paid, who all have had access to Aloha Aina and to leadership capabilities. People who have gone through our programs in the past 20 years, about 350 have attained at least an AA degree. Some have attained a master's degree and bachelor's degree. I am one of those graduates. I got my associates from Leeward Community College. I was able to get my bachelor's in Hawaiian Studies from Hawaii Nui Akea, UH Manoa, all paid for from our organic farms and their resources and their partnerships with a lot of our with really cool partnerships. And we have a really awesome partnership we're building onto now. And this presentation is to communicate that with you guys and to our community, to show that there's bigger opportunities to support our young people, you know, and we all hear that, like, our young people, we need help. Yeah, they need help. We need to find what is our identity, and our identity is Aina. And if we're not tending to Aina, if we're not putting our hands in the soil, if we're not eating the food that we eat, that we producing, and not just growing the food for giving to somebody else, if we're not eating them, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So we have opportunities, and we would love to share them with you folks.
Mahalo, Kaui. Powerful. Aloha mai kako, board members, community members. I'm Kelly Miyamura. I'm with the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation. The Weinberg Foundation has been operating in Hawaii for over 30 years, working with alongside communities who have been under-resourced, helping provide funding through grants in the areas of permanent affordable housing, food insecurity, bolstering our federally qualified health centers, and investing in education and workforce programs to ensure that our young people like Kauai can live and stay and raise their families in their home communities like Wai'anae and Nanakuli. We have grown a lot over the last 5 years and have really learned to listen to community wisdom and elevate the voices of our community members, and have been trying to invest in community-led approaches and solutions to many of the challenges that we all face today and here in Hawaii, from housing and lack of housing to food insecurity to the rising cost of living. And in addition to all of that learning and from our communities, we've also realized as a grant maker, but also a land owner in Hawaii, a large land owner in Hawaii, about the critical need for access and ownership by community-led stewards of land that are grounded in Native Hawaiian approaches and that have generational ties to Aina. And so last year, after lots of community conversations, we did our first land grant, where we transferred ownership of 249 acres in Makaha, zoned for agriculture and housing, to Ma'o Farm and their parent organization, the Wai'anae Community Redevelopment Corporation. Our mission is aligned with Ma'o's missions and values, and they've demonstrated incredible impact over the last 25 years, growing food and raising up young leaders who are really going to lead this community forward. They have tremendous track record of community collaboration. We know that this is a large donation, and we hope that it will continue to expand what they've already been doing for the last 25 years. This is a large donation that comes also with high expectations and a big kuleana. And so those expectations are really to provide housing for this community, housing that is for the families and the young people here who serve this community, to strengthen the food security here, to continue to increase opportunities through higher education to our young people, and to expand workforce opportunities that lead to health and healthy communities, to healthy people and healthy Aina. And so it is a pleasure to partner with them, and an honor and a privilege for us to do that. We also are excited about what's ahead, and they'll share more with you today. And we are also grateful for the big kuleana that they have accepted, and committed to a partnership alongside them through this journey to ensure the success of this vision, but also the benefit to the community. So thank you. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako o wau o kukui ola me kana awao mauna kea fourth. No nana kuli mai au noho au I makaha hana au I ka awava o lua lua le. So mahalo nui for having us. You know, this is, I was just reflecting on the previous speaker and the journey that has been started around our fisheries. Our hope was that we would have a landscape approach by now, an ahupua'a-based approach by now, and we are approaching that when we think about this beautiful Aina and this beautiful gift of kuleana that has come to our community. We are merely facilitators of this ike, as is the way that we were taught. Our ike is meant to be a continuity to the future and to the future generations. And so it's really our privilege to be able to think now about how Makaha can be an example for how all of the valleys on our moku are treated, and so that we can address all of the concerns that we're here today. How do we create health and well-being? How do we restore lands and watershed that lead into healthy fisheries? How are we to create a workforce and a vibrant economy that we can all be proud of, that lives truly into the values of our ike kupuna? And thinking about that journey 25 years ago, we don't often talk about the impact that we have had, but I feel a calling to tell our kupuna today, like Johnny May, that, you know, we were founders of the farm to school movement. We were founders of this idea that, you know, you can create an organic farm, one that is aligned principally to Pono values and principles, without harming our Aina, and while restoring our young people and our families and our communities, and bringing sustaining wages and jobs to our community. We have been at the as part of networks like the Hawaii Good Food Alliance and land back movements all throughout the Pacifica, as well as internationally. You know, this person next to me has been a part of a global fellowship that has ideated many of the things that we do today, because we see the examples of an abundant mindset and what it can produce. The thing is that I don't like to be telling this to our community, because our community already knows it. Please empower us to be able to continue to do our job. What we have in front of you is some beautiful visuals of these land parcels. We are deep in research. We are, I color my back to you, but we are in deep research and kilo of what has happened to these lands, and many things have happened to our moku that have not been recorded, that we need to uncover and that we need to address, and that long journey back, like Kaho'olawe, like Makua, like Pohakuloa, like all of these places are going to be extremely important to engage and involve our young people from the very start, because that will give them the pride that is required for them to be able to speak to you like I am tonight. I had very good guidance, but I didn't have the confidence to be able to talk about the work that we do. And so we're happy to take questions, because we know you have questions about this development.
Hi, I do believe in you guys' program. I met with you guys earlier, and one thing that's missing in your whole mission, and we always talk about young people, about, working the farm and workforce, but what we're looking at, and if you look around you, is our aging community. How do they fit into that? And when we talk about family, how does the aging community that we sit in now, who cannot maintain a sustainable wage because they can no longer work, how does that fit into all the projects that go around us? So that's all I ask, is make sure you put place into that. Okay, because that's what originally that property, from when they were trying to, Carr was trying to develop, and was supposed to be, it's supposed to be a section that was supposed to be for older people. And that was the vision that Weinberg had as well for that property. And that's why they wouldn't turn it over to Carr, and that Makaha Valley, Keela Drive was not turned over to Carr for his development, because they had preserved a section for aging community.
So all of these properties there is a unilateral agreement on all of the properties together. And so that is the process that we are walking through right now. And we invite this dialogue to happen tonight, and to continue as we move forward. There will be a community engagement period. We're not even there yet.
Yes, I understand, and that's why I want to make sure it's there.
Yes,
that you
but
guys
we
understood
wanted to
that.
introduce
Thank you.
ourselves. We're people of the community.
Yep.
I said development, but it's really a restoration of what it should be. And we are always thinking of our kupuna. And I think about kawi as a kupuna. When I see a young person, I think about how can they stay in our moku and bring up their families.
Thank you. Board Member Perry?
Thank you. I just want to clarify. So Kelly, this 249 acres is now deeded to Ma'o Farm? Is that the same thing as deeded to Ma'o Farm?
Can you say in the mic?
Kelly, you represent the foundation. Can you speak to that, please?
Correct. It's a transfer of ownership. So they are on title.
So, okay, so if I look up the deed, they will have Ma'o Farm on it.
For the next couple of years, we are co-owners as the land gets transferred to them over 4 years.
Over 4 years. Okay, thank you. And then Kawi was it? Can you come to the mic, please? Thank you. So you said that you were with Ma'o Farm for 18 years. So what is your job title today?
Currently, I'm the director of farm operations.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. So here's my question. I know this community is vulnerable and Ma'o has been in existence in organic farming in this community, which has sustained their family and the students of this community. I think at this point, we need the word Wai'anae in Ma'o Farms, Wai'anae. We need to be identified in your program, the word Wai'anae attached to it. And anything that you produce in 967, the word Wai'anae should be attached to it. So the people that come and consume your food know that it comes from Wai'anae.
Totally agree. And it is,
And that
in-
needs to happen.
it does.
It will happen, right?
No, it is. On our tags, all of our tags, they have Wai'anae on it.
I-
Lolole Wai'anae.
Ma'o Farms, Wai'anae. Wai'anae is not there on your advertisement, Wai'anae, not
I-
where
I
it's
see that.
produced.
Yeah.
I want the trademark name Wai'anae. I'm serious.
Yes,
So
I
we can
agree.
be identified as
Okay.
doing something
Thank-
good. I'm
yeah.
not finished with my questions. Also, okay, so I'm looking in the benefit of the students, like you, for example. And what I would suggest, because I'm retired, okay, and your future for retirement is zero, okay? So zero, you're not going to get Medicare. Hold up.
Johnny May, what's the
So
question?
all I'm saying is maybe an idea to help the students. They have their own 1 acre to become farmers. Is investing, you become independent farmers along with Ma'o. Okay, we from your office were at the Water Commission hearing. And it was said in that hearing that Wai'anae will be an issue in this community. So I think it would be good to maybe establish a task force to help Ma'o Farm. Maybe going back to old Hawaiian farming techniques, which utilize less water. Because now you're in an area where there's ocean.
Johnny May, what's the
sun-
question, Johnny May?
the
We are on
sun.
time limit.
I'm giving them solutions and suggestions.
Johnny May, please.
Thank
can-
you. So
Thank you.
Hawaiian farming.
Okay, we're gonna end this right now.
Thank
Ma'o
you.
Farms, I
Mahalo.
do appreciate your presentation.
Mahalo, everybody.
Moving on to our next presentation now. Sorry, guys, you guys can ask Ma'o Farms any questions on the side. We're gonna bring up our next presenters now. We're at 9:00, 9:05. We have 10 minutes left. We have to move on. Sorry about that, gentlemen.
Kalamai, I'm not affiliated with Model Farms, but they do have a booth set up at the Makeke Market every Saturday at Wai'anae Mall, and their products do say Ma'o Farm Wai'anae.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
One of the things that we are here for is to see what their plan is, not just to, we learned a little bit about Mao, but
Thank
we
you,
want
Mr.
to
Burke.
know what their plan is for the land.
And Mr. Burke, that's what was to make sure they came forward and you guys could meet on the side and talk with them. And then we would follow through with more meetings with the neighborhood board if that was needed. This is just the beginning stages, correct?
Okay, so again, they're going to come back and they're going to give a presentation on what their plans are for the land.
Right now, they were introducing that they just acquired the land
I
and
know.
they were in the plans of.
What I'm asking is then they're going to come back and give us an idea what they're doing, they're going to do with the
That
land.
is the plan. That is the plan, yes.
When
Thank you,
will
Mr.
that-
Burke.
When,
We don't,
What-
well, they're still in planning right now, Mr. Burke. We can't answer that right now. But we have a new board that's coming on next month and we will make sure those are followed through. Thank you, Mr. Burke. Okay, next presenters, please.
Aloha. This issue that we want to present tonight is about the church development at Mahina Ao. I'm sorry, Mahina Ao Road. The issue basically is a zoning issue. And we want to encourage this board or next board to really look into our zoning. Because if we don't stand firm, then a lot of these developments are going to happen and it's going to affect all of us. In the 1980s, we had the Haggai Institute, a church that wanted to develop, and we stood as a community to stop it. So this is not against church. It's the wrong place. And so tonight we're going to present our petition.
Neighborhood Board, thank you for having us. This presentation is really our petition and protest and objection of a 400-member church and meeting development that's proposed for 85271 Mahina Ao Road. Next slide. This has already this notification has been made to the governor, to the mayor, council member Andrea Tupola, to Senator DeCourt, and to Representative Muraoka, and to the Honolulu City DPP Director, Don Apuna. Next slide. So just to be clear, I have to read it because I'm old, sorry. We, the residents and landowners of Mahina Ao Road and the surrounding neighborhoods, formally oppose the granting of a special management area SMA major permit for the development proposed at 85271 Mahina Ao Road. We believe the scope of the proposed building to include a maximum of 400 people will change the quiet, peaceful nature of the neighborhood and Mahina Ao Road, thus violating the Wai'anae Sustainable Plan of keeping the country country. We are kupuna, we are old, and that's our neighborhood. The petition is in objection to changing the original intent of Wai'anae agriculture and county land zoning in an area where 3 churches presently exist within a half-mile radius. Our desire as landowners and residents of Mahina Ao Road and the surrounding Kaloaha and Maiu'u is to keep this neighborhood zoned appropriately. The following reasons, next slide, illustrate why the proposed development of this property would be both irresponsible and reckless. Next slide. So in terms of infrastructure and public safety, the current infrastructure is inadequate to support a medium-sized structure serving 400 people. The road cannot safely accommodate 2 cars heading in opposing directions. If you went to Wai'anae High School's graduation and had to travel that road, it was dangerous. This also may impact emergency vehicles. Mahina Ao Road does not meet the Department of Planning and Permitting's subdivision street standards. There are no sidewalks, no street lights, and no curbs or gutters, posing serious safety concerns, especially for school children while they're walking or biking. The site is located within both a flood zone and in a tsunami evacuation zone, increasing risk to life and property. Next slide. In terms of environmental and community impact, increased traffic and activity from a 400-member event will disrupt the quiet, rural character of our neighborhood in direct violation of the Wai'anae Sustainable Community Plan, again, to keep the country country. The road is privately owned and not suited for the estimated 200+ additional vehicles such events would bring. Property values will likely decline, and residents on fixed incomes, many of whom were required to install septic systems, oppose mandatory hookup to the city sewer system. The area, again, already hosts 3 churches within a half-mile radius. A 4th, we believe, would be excessive and incompatible with current zoning. The next slide. Furthermore, no communication
or outreach was made to neighbors prior to the clearing of land or the commencement of services. So a large tent was erected and amplified services began without notice, causing noise levels that reached 88 to 90 decibels after 7 p.m. on school nights, often continuing until close to 10 p.m. The gravel deliveries, construction lighting, insufficient construction curtain to minimize dirt and dust from spreading to neighbors when clearing and building, generator noise, and emu smoke have already disrupted the peace and well-being of nearby homes. Importantly, no permit was obtained to clear or grub the land, which exceeds 1 acre and requires a permit under current regulations. These actions, we firmly believe, reflect a lack of good faith, transparency, and respect for the neighborhood and its residents. We've talked a lot tonight about respect and good faith, but also what happens with kupunas. Kupunas planned with their families when they were younger. That's our neighborhood. We invested in it. And according to zoning and language use concerns, we object to any changes in zoning or land use that would permit this development. The proposed use is inconsistent with current agricultural and county zoning and not in alignment with the character or needs of our community. Next slide. You can skip this slide. It's redundant. We do not support any change in zoning or infrastructure within our country zoned area. The protection of our home, land, and lifestyle is our kuleana, and we cannot emphasize that enough. Next slide. We stand firm in our right to advocate for our ohana and neighbors. Let this serve as a clear notice. We do not support a development of this magnitude and will continue to voice our opposition with purpose and unity. Who are we and about us? We are families, neighbors, friends, property owners, and residents on Mahina'au, Maiu'u Road, and Kalawaha Road, and Farrington Highway. We also are concerned residents of surrounding areas, or we're employed within a mile radius of the proposed development. Some of us were born and raised on Mahina'au Road and in the neighborhood and community. We are mindful of the many sacrifices we ourselves have made, or our kupuna parents and families have made, to own a home where we can raise our children and ohana in a safe, respectful, and peaceful country setting. Thank you for allowing us this brief presentation. We respectfully request your support and understanding to deny a special management area major permit for this development. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, because we're running on time, we skipped over one, an approval for the board. This is approval of Tuesday, May 6th, 2025 regular minutes. Can we please vote on that for approval? Yeah, this is the beginning of the agenda. So this is agenda 2. Yes. May 6th and June 3rd, correct. Sorry.
I make, Board Member Wahilani, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
For May and June.
May 6th and June 3rd. You gotta state it.
May 6th and June 3rd.
Ninth one.
Thank you. Any second?
Coco, can you state your motion to just say minutes at this time, and then we'll move forward for June 3rd's
I make a
agenda.
motion to accept the minutes for May 6th and June 3rd.
Agenda.
Coco, I got it.
Agenda.
Chair, I make a motion for approval of Tuesday, May 6th, regular meeting minutes.
Thank you. Second.
Second. Coco,
How will you second it?
Yes.
Okay, go second. Okay. Now approval for Tuesday, June 3rd agenda.
any discussion?
Any discussions? I'm sorry, any discussions for May 3rd?
Shoot, I think Johnny may have.
Yeah, any,
Yes. I think Johnny may have, or she left.
yeah, well, she's not here, so,
So no corrections?
corrections, no distensions. Okay, let's call for the vote. For all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
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 Any abstentions? We'll check everybody's approved.
Chair,
Yes.
I will abstain because I was not present at that meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Good? We have quorum, right, for that? Okay, are now looking for approval.
Chair, make a motion to approve June 3rd, 2025 meeting agenda
Thank you. Any second?
Second.
Okay, go second
with the amendments.
with the amendments. Okay, so any discussions? Abstentions? Okay, are we okay to approve? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Joe Jordan?
Aye.
Fine, okay.
Wahilani, aye.
The agenda has been approved. Okay, and that will end our meeting. We do appreciate everyone showing up. Paul, I apologize. Paul, come forward. Say what you need to say.
Hey, Kalamai. Mahalo. My name is Paul Kepka. I'm a resident of Kaloha Road, and I just want to echo all that was shared. I do think it's important. So we're asking for support, right, to sustain our Wai'anae sustainability plan, maintain zoning, and I think we just want to really create some awareness. But I'd also like to know that we sent out some information to all of our neighbors. Okay, so we are together as Ohana in these streets. In 5 days, we collected 164 signatures suggesting to support the language that was presented. And I would just encourage and I'll share that. I shared it with you, Chair, but I'll share it with anyone here on the board, as well as all of our elected officials. But we're just really asking for your support to sustain, our country zoning, and we got to make sure we continue to work together on that. So thank you for your support. We're really just trying to create awareness as these things come through. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. So we really want to thank Arca Safety for having us here, and let her close
Thank
us
you,
out.
Chair. Thank you, Chair. Again,
you,
I
Arca.
just wanted to also thank you folks for choosing the AOS Arca Safety Center to have your board meeting. But as you see tonight, as you walked in, we're set up because we have Vacation Bible School starting tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the ages is from 3 to 11. $10. We welcome your children, your grandchildren to come. Get registered at 7:30 a.m. Again, from the ages of 3 years old to 11 years old. And this is to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We welcome the community to come. Let them learn about Jesus. Our story is about Joseph in Egypt. So we have a setting here. We've got classrooms. We welcome the community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, meeting adjourned.